Worst movie ranking ever. I was just channeling my inner comic book guy.
I
You like it?
wasn't expecting that.
You like it though? It was good, wasn't it?
Funny about one.
Thank you. So it's lucky for you that that impresses you so far. So welcome to our weekly ranking podcast. We are, and this is one that I personally don't know about PK or Shiru. I've really been looking forward to as our top 10 movies. Paul, we've obviously had a wee bit of a discussion around this. You want to highlight to the audience how we've been about this?
Well, you changed the rules so many times. I'm not really entirely sure, but I think you ended up just basically you couldn't pick more than one film from a franchise.
Well,
Um,
yeah. So if it was like a trilogy or like a series of movies, you don't want just 10 of them. You want a wee bit of variety. What we
so
said, and we really want to highlight, this is not us claiming that these are the top 10 what we think best movies ever. These are just 10 movies that either have amazing rewatchability for different reasons or are just what we thought were just really, really good the time we did watch it. Because sometimes you watch a movie and it's really, really good, but you never watch it again because it's that kind of movie. Once you've seen it once, it doesn't have the same hook.
yeah, just not got that much rewatchability.
Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes some movies are just you just watch it once and that was it. That was enough.
Yeah. Whereas
So,
like I like some movies like you get the whole thing in one watching, whereas some movies you need to go back and
yeah,
catch things, catch wee bits and pieces.
I've got a bit of a mixture of things here. So what I've done is I've kind of invented genres so that each of my choices has a slightly different genre. I was clutching at straws a wee bit in places, but I just wanted to try and have that bit of variety.
Movies with cats.
Shrek, Puss in Boots. Right. So I don't know how we're going to decide. Well, last week's logic was that you chose the topic, so you go first. So I think, and let's try and draw this one out as long as possible. Who cares about the runtime? I just want to really get stuck into this one. So we've got lots of honourable mentions as well. So Paul, since I chose this one, top 10 movies, I think you should go first with your number 10.
Okay, so my number 10 is a movie I know you definitely won't have seen, but
Ah,
you really need to put on your list. Actually, probably a lot of these have you probably haven't seen, but it's just how it is.
I'll take it.
Um, Number 10 is The Raid.
The Raid.
The Raid.
No, I've not seen that.
It's a action movie, martial arts, and I think it's Malaysian. Um, but like I would never came across it, but I can't remember where I seen I think I seen a review of it like years and years and years ago. Um, and it's an absolutely outstanding movie. It's probably got the best fights slash martial arts in any movie that I've ever seen. So basically, it's a tower block run by this gang, and a SWAT team gets sent in to to apprehend them. So they end up getting trapped. All goes to hell, and they need to fight their way out. And like it's great. If you're looking for like a good action movie, The Raid. So
We
that's
just
number.
we just discussed the action movies. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, add it to the list.
I feel like every time I take one off my list, I'm just adding another one back on.
Look, see, I know what you're saying that you get a bit sleepy watching Die Hard and stuff, but
Yeah.
I think see the action in this, you won't fall asleep. It's so good. It's so good. So you need to watch it.
Cool. Well, I'm going to keep my controversial run of number 10s going. I like to just put my hot take in at number 10. So I don't know if you've seen this. I wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't. My number 10 and my genre, I'll tell you the genre first, is musical. So my number 10, and don't shoot me down,
Keep it High
is
School Musical.
it's not High School Musical, it's The Greatest Showman.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Nope.
You haven't seen it. Right. So the reason I picked this one is I like when I was looking at this, I was thinking of movies that I've got rewatchability that I just honestly this movie just puts me in such a great mood. Like the soundtrack is amazing. Hugh Jackman is a fantastic singer. It's got a decent story too. Decent cast. It's Zac Efron, Zendaya, Hugh Jackman. Obviously, the it's just so many absolute bangers and just I'd heard the songs, quite a few of them, before I actually watched the movie. But then, see, when I watched the movie, like honestly, I just feel like on such a buzz for like the rest of the night, and that's why I picked it. Just it puts you in just such a good move,
Good
good
move.
mood. Yeah. So
Yeah.
controversial or not, as we said, these aren't the top 10 greatest movies of all time. Just from a musical aspect, I just thought this was a really good film, really good actors, and a fantastic soundtrack.
Okay, it's a personal list, so I can't bash you.
Just such a feel good film. Like if I was ever feeling down, I would stick that on and just have a good time.
See, I got put off because every day I was driving to work, and on Clyde One, it was always playing one of the Greatest Showman songs like over and over and over. That's
Honestly,
what
give
put
it
me
give,
off.
give it a go. Give it a go one. Stick it on a Friday night. See what you think.
A Friday night. Oh,
Saturday
okay.
night. I don't know. Whatever night you watch things. So that was my hot take. And you, yeah, don't know. I'm pleased with it.
Right,
Very
it's
good.
your list. If
Yeah,
you're pleased with it, then that is good.
that's good. Right, you're number 9.
My number 9 is Rogue One.
Oh, I kind of guessed Rogue One was coming when I saw your screen name.
All right, yeah.
So
Actually,
that's
I didn't even think
obviously
of that.
that's obviously your Star Wars pick then.
Yeah. Um, like I love all the Star Wars films, but
All of them. Rise of Skywalker.
like the story doesn't make sense in Rise of Skywalker, but I love to watch it.
It's a decent movie. Yeah.
Um, like see, like nah, not going into sequels. No, not doing it. Not this video.
We'll save it. We'll save it.
Yeah. So yeah, Rogue One. It's not your typical Star Wars film. It's basically like a war movie. Um, and just the third act
Wars
alone,
actually had a war.
yes, and a pretty believable war. Just casualties everywhere, things going up, uh, transitions, the way it's directed, um, the transition from like air battles to ground battles. Uh, I just thought the third act was outstanding. The way it was shot,
Yeah.
the effects were amazing. Uh, I just loved it. And it turns out my girlfriend, she absolutely hates it. So
Hmm.
that's my hot take.
I think the first 2/3 are decent, but I agree the last third is outstanding. See that scene they do it in one take where you see like a ship explode and it's like one just camera take
Yeah,
that takes you back out of the beach.
yeah. That's what I mean. The
Um,
transition
yeah,
from space, like the air battle to the ground
yeah,
battle. Is that when the blue leader gets shot down?
yeah. I thought the cast were good. I thought Felicity Jones was really good.
Yeah,
I quite liked Diego Luna. I like Cassian as well. I thought he was decent. Alan Tudyk as K2SO is one of my kind of top 2 or 3 Star Wars droids.
yeah. I think he stole the show in that whole movie. To be fair.
Yeah, he was brilliant. No, I'm a big fan of Rogue One. It's one of those ones. As soon as you start talking about it, you want to go and watch it.
Yeah. Oh, I should have put Krennic in my honorable mentions in the movie, the villains, because I
Well,
liked him. God. Right. Okay. Anyway.
we're never going to get this perfect, and it's sometimes quite nice when you think of things after the fact as well, because
Yeah.
you can bring it forward. Right, my number 9 is my crime choice, and I went for Pulp Fiction.
Oh, you've mentioned that quite a few times the last few
Yeah,
weeks.
it was on my list. I've had a list long before we started the podcast, just on my phone of things I wanted to watch, and my colleague, Mr. Stoddart, mentioned it all the time. I bought it on DVD because I couldn't find it on any streaming services, and I've got this thing where I sit DVDs beside my telly, and then sometimes they sit there for months. Like Forrest Gump's still sitting there. I've not watched it yet. I bought it at the same time as Pulp Fiction, and it took me a wee while to get into the film because it doesn't obviously have that kind of linear structure. But I thought The soundtrack was amazing. The "Son of a Preacher Man" is my number one song right now. Some great performances: Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta, Uma Thurman. Just it's very clever in that it doesn't follow that structure, and basically the start of the film is technically the end of the film. It's just got great dialogue, great action scenes, a lot of brutal scenes, and it's just a classic. And I'm really glad I've seen it because I've mentioned it in my soundtrack, and I've also mentioned Uma Thurman in my actresses one as well.
Yeah, when Tarantino gets it right, he really gets it right.
You're a bit of a Pulp Fiction fan as well, yeah?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in years right enough, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really great movie.
The good thing about, as I keep saying, of me not seeing these films is I'm getting to see them all for the first time and also see them quite recently as well. So
Nah, we're all so jealous of you.
that's true. I'm always jealous of people when they haven't seen shows or films I've not seen because then they get to experience it for the first time. So you're
So
number 9, 10, 8, no 8, yeah 8,
11, 12,
8,
um,
number 8.
number 8. That's one that's on your list, your very long list.
Oh, I thought you meant this list. I was like, have you been doing the Marcel Bielsa tactics?
um, no. Halloween, the original.
Okay, that is on my list, and I haven't watched it yet, but I will watch it at some point over
Yeah.
the next couple of months.
Like, I think it's like I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's it just holds up. I think it holds up really well. Like your modern day kind of slasher films and stuff. It's really creepy, and yeah, uh, Michael Myers is one of the most iconic kind of bad guys you'll see, and this movie's probably the reason.
I know of Michael Myers. Like I've heard friends mention him for years. So just, but again, I will. I'll definitely watch that this year. So that'll be sorted out.
He's that goofy English spy.
No, he's not. Talking about that's a good interlude to my number 8, Spies. My comic book choice isn't actually an MCU or a Marvel property. I actually went for Kingsman: The Secret Service, the first Kingsman movie, as my comic book choice.
I like it.
Because I could have went for, I thought of things like Spider-Man movies, I thought about X-Men, I thought about Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought about Avengers, and I could have picked any of them. But to me, Kingsman is such a unique film. I don't. Neither of us were a big fan of the recent prequel, but the original Kingsman, from the characters, the suits, the quotes like "manners maketh man," the action scenes, the ridiculous scenes. I just had such a great time watching it. I don't think the sequel or the prequel hold up, but I think the original and that classic church scene, and I think Samuel Jackson's the villain in that one. I think
Yeah,
Kingsman is a great time and a great comic book movie.
yeah, no, I totally agree. It's definitely a kind of I wouldn't say one of a kind, one of a kind movie, but um, yeah, just so there's so many like iconic scenes, like you've seen the church scene,
Hmm.
um, where you wouldn't expect Colin Firth to just absolutely slaughter everybody.
He he was amazing in that film, and I really liked. I forgot his name.
Taron
Exit
Egerton.
Taron Egerton. I thought he was fantastic. I just love that scene. See at the end where, or not the end. It happens at the end and the middle essentially when he locks the door with the umbrella, and then he just goes to town on the use.
The use.
Aye, there's
Oh,
like
the use.
aye. Aye.
I was thinking of a different scene there.
Did you see that one coming? Did you see me picking Kingsman?
Uh,
You know I'm quite a big fan of it.
yeah, I wouldn't have probably wouldn't have said it was in your top 10, but
Yeah, but this top 10 for me is, as I said, I've kind of invented 10 genres and just kind of picked one. And I thought it was a wee bit less obvious than choosing like Infinity War or No Way Home or things like that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, no, I totally get it. So, um, yeah, good choice.
Okay, so you're number 7 then.
I went for Saving Private Ryan.
I've not seen that, surprisingly.
um,
Obviously
it's
heard of
just,
it.
it's just worth it for like the opening like 15 minutes alone. It's a great film, great cast. Um, I ended up, I can't remember, was it on the PlayStation? There was a game called
Gear Solid.
Medal of Honor, Medal of Honor Frontline, and I basically copied like the first 15 minutes of this movie, the first level, and I would just play that constantly. But this movie is just such a like a grand scale. Um, it's brutal, and like everyone, there's like people getting like extremities blown off. There's bullets flying everywhere, but then there's wee moments where it's kind of nice and normal. Uh, the camaraderie between the group of soldiers is really nice as well.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for you because I think you should watch it as well. It's like a masterpiece. I think Steven Spielberg directed it.
Well, it's on. It was maybe already on the list, but I added it on anyway. I've
Yeah.
obviously heard of it. I've seen it referenced in popular culture. There was a episode of The Simpsons where they referenced it. I'm pretty sure, and it's obviously probably been mentioned in quite a few. Oh, I just remembered a film that I've not included, but I'm going to add it to my honorable mentions. I'll explain later.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so that was your number 7, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, my number 7 is there's a few reasons for this. My list gets quite deep from here on in, so better get strapped in. So I've termed it as a family film, but it's probably more of a comedy. Don't know if you've seen it. Hope you have. If you haven't, you should watch it. It is good. So my family film I've chosen number 7 is Daddy's Home, starring Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
I have seen that. Yeah,
You
I
have
have
seen
seen
it.
that.
What are your thoughts?
Uh, I wouldn't have said like obviously it's a personal list, so
Aye.
you know, I wouldn't put it in my top 10. Like it was kind of in that wee spate of Will Ferrell movies that were kind of the samey.
Yeah.
Like he just seems to be playing the same kind of character like through a load of films. Obviously like all these outlandish kind of things happen to him and all that.
Hmm.
I did like Mark Wahlberg because he played like
Yeah.
the jerky kind of
I
show off.
thought they had a really good dynamic, and obviously their relationship progresses as the film goes on, and at the end of the film they become really friendly. It's a film that when I seen it, it had different feelings. Having a girlfriend with children, I could really relate to a lot of the bits like where the wee girl asked Will Ferrell's character to go to the daddy's daughter's dance, and I'm not gonna lie, I get a wee bit choked up watching that film now. So the reason it kind of made the list was I've got a lot of relatability to the scenario that Will Ferrell's character's in.
Oh, you're cute.
That's your favorite word nowadays. But there's two parts. There's the relatability for me, but also I think it's a really funny film and very rewatchable, I would say as well.
Yeah. Was there a sequel? Have you seen that?
Uh, I don't think I've seen the sequel. Oh no, I think I have. I think I have seen it. I am a big Will Ferrell fan. The reason why that picked other Will Ferrell properties was the kind of the relatability. I would say.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like it.
There you go. Number 6.
I went for something that isn't lots of guns and shooting and explosion. Well, not in a serious way. I went for The Vacation.
Nice. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't even know this film existed until maybe a couple of years ago, and it's so funny, so funny. Um, Ed Helms and his family are just brilliant. Is it Christina Applegate? Is that?
I think it is. Yeah. Who was in
Yeah,
my
she's
top,
the
in
mum.
my top actresses?
Oh yeah, yeah. So um, she's brilliant in it. Ed Helms is brilliant in it. They have two kids, an older one and a younger brother and older brother, and they just absolutely. Oh no, the younger brother tears the older brother to shreds. Um, and it's just so funny the way this holiday goes to absolute hell.
I can't remember it. I've only seen it once, but I can't remember it very well. But I remember there was like a scene where um was one of the boys meet a girl or something, but then the dad walked in and made it really awkward or something. I
Oh
just
yeah,
remember
in the
that.
hospital.
Yeah.
A a motel hot tub.
And did they not go to like is it a water park or something? And or like the wife is like reliving her youth. She's like she ends up drinking a lot.
Oh, it was a sorority
Yeah.
obstacle course.
Yeah, there's a few scenes from that movie that I remember well.
Yeah, and you remember Chris Hemsworth in it?
Vaguely.
He's like
Is Pierce not in it?
at the very end.
Pierce from Community, yeah. Well, the
Yeah,
actor.
'cause he was in the original
Aye,
National
yeah,
Lampoon's Vacation.
it's like a reboot.
But yeah, so funny.
I think that's quite funny because like that's not something I thought you'd have in your top 10. Like you didn't think I'd have Daddy's Home. I think they're kind of not similar in plot, but similar kind of like just a kind of feel good comedy.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing I would put that on if I just needed a laugh.
Daddy's Home is actually quite relevant to our podcast because the our seismic cinema jingle is basically a bit of a rip off of the panda one from Daddy's Home.
All right, I can't remember that. So
Yeah,
if there's any copyright issues,
you need to check it out. So that was your number six.
yes,
Right, my number six, I've termed it loosely as a high school movie.
High School Musical.
Not a high school musical. That's the second time you said that. Right, my number six, and it's my favorite out of this kind of franchise. There's another one I really like, which is the first one. I've put in my number six, American Pie: The Reunion.
Is that the
That's the fourth one.
is that when they're older?
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
I absolutely adore it. I did a bit of a poll. It's a bit of a weird one. I think it was 2011. I went and saw American Pie: The Reunion, and I hadn't actually seen the original American Pie trilogy, so I did it a bit in reverse. And I just find it's just one of those things. The age we're at now, see watching a film of these five friends meeting up after all these years, and so much has changed, but so much hasn't changed, and there's just so much nostalgia in the film. It's hilarious. Stifler's amazing. There's all the kind of callbacks, recurring characters, and I don't know, just the American Pie films. I don't know if it's the music or just the kind of American school nostalgia. Just there's something really special, and I've got a real kind of place in my heart for the American Pie movies.
Yeah. I loved all of them. I love just the crazy comedy of them all.
Mm.
And stuff like you're saying, he just steals the show all the time.
Yeah.
I like the way there's a reunion, like he's in a really horrible job.
Uh,
Yeah. So yeah.
I just American. The first American Pie is really really good. The second one's decent. The third one, I think, because Oz wasn't in the third one.
Yeah.
I think the actor had some personal issues at that point. But I just think the reunion, like I could. That's one of those films. See if I just have a friend over and just want to have a good. I would just stick that on. Amazing soundtrack. American Pie has as well.
Yeah.
So I've termed that as my high school movie. Because my overall mine's kind of a bit more loaded towards comedy. Not totally, and there's a bit more different things to come. But yeah, I had to have American Pie Reunion in my list.
No. Last. I totally agree with that. It's a cracking set of movies.
Nice. So number five.
I have went for I've mentioned this like over I think all my list. Is The Rock
Yeah,
starring
I think you've mentioned that
Sean
before. The
Connery?
Rock, starring The Rock.
Not The Rock, no. Starring Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris. Um, oh, it's got Dr. Cox in it.
Nice.
He
Oh, I know
is
it. John C.
what?
Ginley.
No, Dr. Cox. Um,
What?
He's a rogue marine,
What is it?
and
The
that
actor who plays Dr. Cox in Scrubs?
yeah,
Is his name not John C. McGinley or something like
like he's always going to be known as
that?
Doctor Cox to me. So,
Okay.
excuse me. So obviously you've not seen it, but it's a great action movie. A lot of good actors in it. Just really fast and furious. There's actually a fun fan theory that Sean Connery's character is actually James Bond,
Hmm.
and he's been
Is that,
locked up by the Americans.
is that true?
I think it's just a kind of clutching at straws kind of thing. But it's actually quite a wee fun fan theory. But yeah, Sean Connery plays this. He's the only person to ever escape Alcatraz,
Right.
and they need him to break back into Alcatraz because Ed Harris has taken it over.
It's a bit of a prison break kind of movie.
Well, they're breaking into prison
Breaking in, yeah.
to neutralize all these chemical rockets that Ed Harris, the rogue general, has stolen and is going to fire on San Francisco. So yeah,
Sounds.
I would give it a watch, and it's also got some great music in it as well.
It does sound quite interesting. I'll add it. Was that on your music ranking?
Yeah, yeah. It's when I was talking about Hans Zimmer,
Yeah,
so he does a score for it, and it's really, really good.
I've added them on.
Excellent.
Right. So number five for me, I'm really clutching at the genre straws here. I've called it my piecing together movie, and
Piecing
as
it together.
piecing together, I'll get to that. So I just picked, as I said, movies I just thought were really good. Like Pulp Fiction was one of those ones that was just a great movie. I just really enjoyed the experience. What rewatchability is a big thing for me with movies. I've went for the first Hangover movie.
Oh, dude, yeah,
I think it's just an absolute classic. Like I love it. I love a road trip movie. I love the kind of, although they overdid it a bit when they went into the third one. I thought the second Hangover movie was good, the one in Thailand.
yeah.
But the first one is just absolute classic. Like Alan's quotes, the tagger, Mike Tyson, the song about the tagger. Um, yeah, I'm assuming by your reaction you agree. Just the first Hangover movie is just an absolute modern classic.
Oh yeah. When I think I seen it in cinema, and then I think I seen it at Galby's house as well, and you should just watch it over and over and over again. It was just so funny, and like one of these ones where you just like say something like, "Yeah, by the way, you should watch The Hangover. It's so good."
Yeah,
Um,
well, I want to watch it right now that I just started talking about it. So
yeah, and it's like one of those things like, "Oh man, I really wish I had a lad's holiday." It was like that.
yeah, I just I don't think I would ever tire of watching it. I think that's what makes it one that I want on the list, and I think I'm probably going to watch it at some point this week just because I've mentioned it there. I just
Yeah.
also think there's just some great character arcs as well because Stu Ed Helms' character obviously just lets his girlfriend walk all over him. Sheila Sass from Suits.
Yep.
And but at the end, there's some great quotes at the end when he eventually breaks up with her. And I really like Bradley Cooper's character as well. I think being a teacher, I can relate to his character. He's a bit too cool for school though.
Unrealistic.
Just there's Mr. Chow. There's a lot of great characters in it.
Yep. Totally agree on that one. Great choice for your top 10.
Yeah, there were just certain ones. As soon as I thought of them when I was making my list, I was like, I can't not have the Hangover in there.
Yeah. I actually had that in my honorable mentions. It's like it's so hard to squeeze them all in a top 10.
Yeah. Number four.
The Thing.
Oh, this one's came up as well.
Yeah. So we need to watch this. We need to do a review on this because it's awesome. I can't tell you much about it because it just totally spoil it. But
We've got a few slots left in kind of April and May, so
yeah, so we should try that because um, I'm a big fan of like practical effects in movies, and the ones in this, like for the time, it must have been like crazy amazing, and it still kind of holds up, but like it's still really good. So, the Thing for me, is number 4.
Very nice. It's a shame that you can't go into a lot of depth on yours because you're trying not to spoil them for me. So,
I'm like, God damn it.
I will. That can be a future reference. Keeps the runtime down a bit too, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So my number 4 is my animated choice, and there's a few honourable mentions, which I'll just say now. Into the Spideyverse gets an honourable mention.
Oh, I thought that was going to be it. I was sitting there going that.
I think we've all got a good feeling for that one. I'm also, because I actually watched it last week, I'm going to give an honourable mention to the original Lion King. That's a cracker, and the soundtrack. Why was the Lion King not on my soundtrack ranking? Like that's like one of the most iconic movie soundtracks of all time, I would say.
If you can sing one of the songs, I'll give you an extra point.
No. My choice, not another one in this series could have been here, but this is the one I term as my favorite Pixar movie. I went for Toy Story 3.
Uh-huh. Like that.
So one, I think it's a fantastic sequel. I wasn't a big fan of Toy Story 2 when it first came out. I've since warmed to it. Jesse just always irritated me. I don't know your thoughts on Jesse, but I think we as in our age, and this is where it gets kind of sentimental again, is we are the kind of same age as Andy, because like Toy Story came out when we were young kids, and I was going off to university when Andy was going off to college, and just the of just some of the scenes, like when you think all the toys are going to get destroyed in the kind of furnace, and when Andy gives up his toys to what's the wee girl called?
Oh, I can't remember.
I can't remember. But he gives the toys away, and see that scene when he leaves them and he's talking to Buzz and Woody, like you can't have a dry eye there. I just think, and great villain as well. Lotso Huggy Bear is a really formidable villain, but quite you feel sorry for him a bit because he obviously he got abandoned by his owner, and I think they just merged some new characters in with all the kind of classic ones as well. And I like the kind of escape from the daycare center. So I love the original Toy Story. That was the other one that could have slipped in there. But Toy Story 3, I think just that kind of emotional connection again was what made me want to include it.
Yeah, that furnace scene. Oh, rough.
Now, for me, it's the leaving the toys in the garden. Like, you know how attached I am to my toys, so I can't, I can't relate.
What kind of toys you talking about, Colin?
My Toy Story ones, and my
Oh,
Star Wars. Yeah. So, Toy Story 3, a fan?
I'm a fan.
You a fan? Toy Story 4 was actually surprisingly good. I actually quite enjoyed it. It was a film I was like, that doesn't need to be made, but I actually thought it was pretty good.
I didn't actually watch it.
Have you not seen it?
No, I'm not seeing it.
Check it out at some point. Okay, number 3.
Number 3 for me is another action movie, which won't surprise you.
Surprise, surprise.
It is Black Hawk Down.
Okay.
I don't know
Heard
if
of it.
have you seen that? No.
I've not seen it, but I've heard of it. Does that count?
Yeah. It's an absolutely fantastic movie. It was one of my favourite movies for a long, long time. It was kind of this was it was hard to place this on the list. Um, and like it's got like you're saying about that rewatchability because there's so much going on from so many different perspectives. You need to watch it. I've watched it like so many times, and I still don't know everything that's going on. Like most of the time,
Yeah.
there's just so much happening. But the action's great. It's got an like ensemble cast. It's got Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hugh McGregor.
Yeah. It's got Tom Hardy. It's got what was his name? There's just loads of like great actors. One thing. It's got such great actors in it. But the action's great. The story flows. and the effects are brilliant. There's helicopter crashes and all that in
Yeah,
these cities. The city's getting wrecked. Uh, but yeah, I would definitely check it if you're looking for a good action movie, a good war movie. But you need to stay focused for it because there's a lot going on all the time.
I'm out.
Yeah, Eric Bana, he's in it.
I've heard of it. I think it's quite a well-known film.
Yeah. I think it won quite a few awards, and
Yeah,
it's based on a true story as well. A lot of quite quite harrowing stuff at times.
yeah. I'm having the pet problem now. My cat's at my feet.
Ha! How does it feel?
Quite nice. Right. So my number three, I think you'll definitely agree. You've definitely seen this. This is my horror choice,
Mhm.
although I would say maybe more of a psychological thriller. My number three is Get Out.
Nice. I like it.
I think we went to see it together at the cinema, unless am I right or wrong on that? Sure we
No,
did.
it wasn't me.
I'm sure I went to see it with you. Like I'm actually convinced that I did.
No, I watched it. I watched it way after it came out. I never watched it when it first came out.
Right. Well, oh, I love movies with foreshadowing and tension building and mystery and just the uneasiness when they're traveling up to the parents' house when he knocks over the what does he knock over? Is it a deer?
No, I can't remember. I've not seen it in a
And
long
then
time.
just the way people are talking to him, and then the gardener that just runs about sprinting, and then this creepy woman that just like looks really creepy, and the bits with the kind of hypnotism, and they reveal that they're actually taking the brains out of people and putting them into other people's bodies, and just it's one of those films when you rewatch it, you notice all the things like they're having the auction, and it's like they're auctioning off like artwork, but they're actually auctioning off like people's bodies because they're gonna like basically
Yeah, swap
the
over.
they're basically like kidnapping black people and then putting their brains into no sorry the white people's brains into them because a few of them had like problems with their sight and they just couldn't run anymore because I think the gardener was like he was like an Olympian.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah. It's a really like disturbing film, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I think Jordan Peele's got another movie coming out this year, so I'm looking forward to that.
Nope.
No, what?
His new film's called Nope.
All right, I thought you were just not wanting to go see it. He had another film called Us, which I thought was decent. It wasn't as good, but it was still decent. I don't know if you saw it.
I've not seen it yet. No.
Yeah,
Kind of one that I kind of want to see, but
yeah,
I'm not in a rush to see it.
yeah. So I knew from when I started doing this, writing these down, Get Out was always in my top three. I really, really like, enjoyed that film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well when I watched it. It was a nice twist. It was a good twist that I didn't
It's
see
got
coming.
because of the foreshadowing. It's got rewatchability for me, as I said, that's a big thing. So I have watched it quite a lot of times.
Yeah, it's mental. I think Jordan Peele came up with that when he's a comedian.
Dark humor.
Hmm.
So almost there. Number two for you, Paul.
Number two is a bit of just a sentimental pick for me.
You're
It
sentimental.
can be at times. Um, it's an old war movie called Bridge Too Far.
Okay,
It's basically I think it's about like 3 hours long.
I would definitely fall asleep.
And it's got like Michael Caine, it's got Sean Connery, it's got Gene Hackman, it's got Robert Redford, it's got loads of amazing, great actors from over the years.
Mhm.
And they're all in these different war zones, try to take these different bridges. And there's heroes on both sides. And it's such a great movie. But the sentimentality point comes from it was kind of the last movie I watched with my grandpa before he died properly. Well, I don't know how much he took in of it because he was pretty deaf and probably wasn't listening to any of it. Uh, yeah, so that was the kind of sentimental side to it, but it's an excellent movie as well.
Well, Seismic Cinema went deep tonight.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's very nice. My number two, and I think you were probably wondering when Star Wars was going to rear its head, is A New Hope,
Yeah.
which was my gateway into Star Wars. My parents bought me the original trilogy, the special editions on video cassette when I was around 4 or 5 years old, and that's when the obsession was born. And I just feel that Star Wars is probably the reason I'm doing the podcast right now. Like it was the thing that just got me into kind of movies, and it was such a groundbreaking film. This and that it basically changed movie making forever. And there's a lot of like documentaries and books about it, how they like the special effects, the practical effects, and just the kind of modern blockbuster and the images of the crowd around the blocks. I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures of like when Star Wars first came out, and there's just like queues around the blocks. And I think just the fact that there's still sequels and TV shows getting made now, and the fact all the shows like Mos Eisley Cantina scene, and I just think it's probably the most important film in cinema history, to put it bluntly.
And it's only number two.
Yeah. Like, again, this isn't like, as we said, it's not top 10 movies. It's just
Yeah.
Star Wars is my favorite franchise. Yeah, that goes without saying. But
It was a very nice wee speech there from like that.
I'm very, very passionate about Star Wars. I think it's an integral component of my life in a lot of ways, I would say.
Yeah, if we didn't have it, then me and you wouldn't talk 90% of the time.
We probably wouldn't have started the podcast if we weren't into Star Wars.
Nah, probably not. No.
Obviously, Book of Boba Fett was our first thing. So
Yeah.
right, number one pick. Improve the drum rolls.
I know. I've got a pen and a notepad. It doesn't really work. So number one for me is John Wick.
Which one?
First one.
I'm not actually against watching John Wick. It's just the fact I can't find the first one anywhere.
I've got it. You need to come around to my house and watch it.
Okay, we'll do that.
You arrange a wee day, so
you must really like it then if it's your number one choice.
Yeah. Oh, the action, Keanu Reeves, and it's hard to explain. Like in this movie, they've kind of got their own wee kind of universe where, like, there's assassins everywhere, and like you'll see it you'll see it and you can understand it. Like they've all got their own wee kind of like currency. There's a kind of respect and code of conduct and stuff. It's really cool, really well thought out, and the action's amazing. Keanu Reeves does such a good job. His gunplay is amazing. The bad guys, you hate them, so you love it when things happen. So yeah, John Wick for me, number one, definitely.
Are you modeling your hair on Reeves?
No, I need to get mine cut and maybe lose a few stone for that.
Right. Do you know what my number one is?
Ooh. Genre.
I put it as police.
Harry Potter.
No, Harry Potter didn't actually make my list. Although there is an mention.
Hot Fuzz.
Number one's Hot Fuzz, yeah.
Yes.
I'm a massive Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright fan, and Hot Fuzz is by far my favourite of the Cornetto trilogy, and I had to have at least one of them in there. I think Shaun of the Dead's really good. Hot take. I actually like World's End better than Shaun of the Dead. I feel that kind of more emotional connection. I think it's got a really strong story and the character development. It's actually quite a tragic tale of kind of Gary King and his problems with alcoholism and not being able to let go of his childhood. So I actually like World's End better than Shaun of the Dead, but Hot Fuzz is my absolute favourite. I actually remember the day I got it. I bought it out of Blockbusters in the bargain bucket, for like a couple of pounds, and it was actually funny because in Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead's in a bucket of DVDs with it's like the Spanish title for it,
All right.
and I just saw it and I was absolutely hooked. Like my favorite kind of genre of story is I love a mystery, and I absolutely love just the kind of foreshadowing because Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright do it fantastically, and just it's just so quotable. There's so they act. I tell you, as an action movie too, they did so much research into how the police actually operate, and they incorporated a lot of that in, like the amount of paperwork they do, and they made a kind of a joke out of it, but they kind of did it justice, and just the Edgar Wright's camera style, the kind of quick takes, and just the clever dialogue. Like I could go on all night about Hot Fuzz. The only thing that brings Hot Fuzz down for me is I don't think it's as good when they reveal the reasons why everything's happening. I liked it better when it was like an actual murder mystery, but when it was just like this group of people knocking people off for like having ugly houses and stuff, it didn't ruin the film because the finale's still amazing. But I did enjoy it more when it was a mystery. And yeah, it's my. If people ask me, because Star Wars and Harry Potter are like my favorite franchises, but Hot Fuzz as an individual movie, I would say is my favorite movie.
See, that's funny. I quite liked the review
Yeah.
because I'm thinking, oh, this is a big master plan. It was just like, no, she had, like you're saying,
Yeah.
ugly house, or oh, she was going to sell her shop and move away.
Uh, no, it is good, and it's so rewatchable because of all the foreshadowing, and like they say things like, "Oh, he's going to be in bits in the morning, and then he dies," and she's like, "I'm just about to pop off actually," and then she gets impaled by the shears, and it's just so clever. The cast is amazing. See when you think about it, you get Simon Pegg, you get Nick Frost, you've got Bill Nye in like one scene, you've got Olivia Colman who plays the Queen in
Crown.
The Crown. You've got David Bradley, who's in Harry Potter as Filch. You've got Paddy Considine, who has a big role in The World's End. You know, one of the two
Yeah.
Andys.
Yeah.
The other Andy is Rafe Spall, who's Timothy Spall's son, who's also in Shaun of the Dead. He's the one that has red on him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And there'll be more as well. There's
That is Bill Bailey. There's the guy that's the
Bailey,
janitor at Harry Potter.
and there's Jim Broadbent.
Yeah.
Yeah, just an amazing cast. It's a great
Timothy
parody.
Dalton.
You actually forget it's a parody at times. It's so well done.
Yeah. Timothy Dalton as well.
Yeah, former Bond.
So yeah, I liked it because Summerfield was
Yeah,
a big
and
thing. I
just
worked at Summerfield.
just after I watched it, and I'd obviously seen that scene, I remember walking down into town and going into Summerfield and just being like, I just became absolutely obsessed with that film. Like,
To be fair, as part of our training at Summerfield, we were taught to defend a murder conspiracy by the higher management.
yeah, that makes sense. Paul Kelly to Alpha.
Ring the
Manager's
butcher.
office. Manager's office, Paul Kelly.
No luck catching them swans then.
Just the one swan, actually. Yeah, fantastic film. And in my opinion, well worthy of a number one slot.
Hey,
Well, that's us done it. Will we fire off some honourable mentions before we
aye,
finish
there
up?
we go.
Bit of a longer podcast, but I've quite enjoyed going quite deep on our choices.
Yeah, you go so deep in your. I need to do more homework in my.
I
my,
don't,
my
I don't prep that. That was just
yeah,
monologue. So, what are some of your honourable mentions then? We won't go deep on these, just the names.
yeah, okay. So first on my list, I've got Crawl, which is a kind of creature feature. It's a horror movie with I think it's a crocodile or an alligator. I can't remember which one. In Australia, and somebody gets stuck in a basement. So it's a good kind of horror creature feature.
Right.
Scary movie.
I watched
But
that recently.
I thought it was hilarious. Back in primary school, I remember watching it in primary school, and it was just totally like crazy. I loved it. Man of Steel.
I've seen that, yeah.
That's actually my favourite DC film. I don't
Yeah.
care for much of the rest. I like the action.
Yeah.
I like the characters. Extraction. Have you seen that?
No.
Chris Hemsworth's in it, and the action's brilliant in that too. There's so many like kind of it looks like one shot kind of scene where the
Yeah.
action's just relentless. And they're filming a second one, and I think that's going to be great too. So you should watch that.
Cool.
I had The Hangover, like yourself. The Strangers had that as well. Fun fact: one of the masked men from The Strangers followed us, and we're pretty proud about it.
Yep. Pretty nice, isn't it?
Had Hot Fuzz. Uh, Train to Busan. Have you seen that?
No.
It's a zombie. It's a South Korean zombie film.
Yeah.
It takes place in a train. It's it's really good as well. It's probably one of my favourite zombie movies. What else have I got? I've got Predator 1 and 2. Get to the chopper. Um, Alien.
Yeah. Aliens is my favorite one. Second one.
Yeah. I like the characters in it. I like all the action. I went for Alien. I went for the Batman.
Hmm.
Actually, I lied when I said Man of Steel. The Batman's my favourite DC movie
I
now.
was actually going to say that when you mentioned Man of Steel.
Yeah. Um, Smoking Aces. Have you seen that?
No.
That's got a great cast. Got like
I'm not going to add anything else to my list for a wee while. It's getting a bit chocker.
Smoking Aces. Got Ryan Reynolds, Ray Liotta, I think Ben Affleck's in it. Chris Pine, Bombing, bunch of people, hotel, casino, all these assassins and all these cops are trying to get this magician guy that's total burned out and he's a FBI witness or something. I can't remember, but it's a kind of underrated action movie. I think with
Yeah.
really good music as well. Um, had Die Hard on the list,
Nice.
which we just recently reviewed. um, Hacksaw Ridge, with Andrew Garfield, great war movie again. And last but not least, Starship Troopers.
Hmm.
Did you know you used to have a dropship toy from Starship Troopers?
I can tell you.
I think you did. I think you did. But yeah, it's a kind of cult classic as well. Like aliens, uh, guns, brilliant. So that was my honorable mention.
Cool. I'll just fire through some quickly. This really should have made it Anchorman.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
close to making it. Non-stop, the Liam Neeson seismic suggestion one, where he's the air marshal. I really like that film.
love that film. Yeah,
Infinity War, possibly my favorite MCU film. Not sure. Maybe Guardians. No Way Home I had on the list. I thought that was really good. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I'm more of a Harry Potter book fan than a film fan, but it is my favorite one. This was very close to
Strachan's
making
number
my
eight.
list. What's that?
Strachan's number 8.
Yeah, definitely. This was really close to making my list. American Psycho. Pulp Fiction just edged it out, but I really liked American Psycho. Baby Driver was another honorable mention.
Yeah.
Run Fat Boy Run, brilliant comedy.
Story of my
I,
life.
I kind of wanted that one in. Taken, the first Taken, I think it's really, really good. Very memorable.
Yeah,
Unknown, also by Liam Neeson, where he kind of loses his memory. I don't know if you've seen that one.
yeah.
It's,
You let me a DVD.
yeah. The Gentleman I actually put on as a suggestion.
Oh yeah, okay.
One I just really, really liked, The Internship. I had that down as an honourable mention.
Yeah, it's just a feel good, isn't it?
I just think it's a ball of fun. The Wolf of Wall Street, really long but really good. Last Vegas, just for pensioners going on a trip to Vegas, hilarious. Have you seen it, Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, yeah. I went and seen it at the cinema. I think.
We'll see it together. The World's End I put on. Mean Girls just for fun. Borat, absolutely hilarious. Classic from the 2000s. The first In-Betweeners movie I thought was really good, very memorable.
Oh, I forgot about them. Oh,
Yeah, that
yeah.
that was something I considered. Also, Superbad was also could have quite easily made the list.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, I'm a big fan of the Paul Paul movie. This is one I've really enjoyed. One of those ones I just really enjoyed watching it as a one-off. Law-abiding citizen,
Yeah.
great movie. Oh, there's so many I wanted to put on. You can probably tell by my enthusiasm here. 21 and 22 Jump Street. I really wanted to include at least one of them.
Oh, I've not seen 22 Jump. I've seen half of 22 Jump Street.
22 is amazing as well. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, an absolute brilliant film, came to my mind quite late on. Friends with Benefits, bit of a random one. Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake, a really feel good film, really funny as well.
Yeah.
Step Brothers, another Will Ferrell number. We're the Millers, Jennifer Aniston and David Sudeikis, kind of road trip movie, or they're kind of transporting product. Looper thought was quite a clever film, and that was it. So, the one I thought of when you were talking about another film, A Few Good Men.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Oh,
Tom Cruise.
yeah.
It's really good. You
There's
need me
one.
on that wall. That one. And also another Tom Cruise film, The Firm, which is based on a novel I've read by John Grisham.
Okay. When you
So that
said
was some of
what
mine.
was- you said Superbad, I was thinking Project X and 21
Scott,
and Over.
Scott Pilgrim as well.
Scott Pilgrim as well. Yeah.
There's so many you could include in this.
Yeah.
But ones like Superbad, the In-Betweeners movie, like
Napoleon Dynamite.
Anchorman, they're definitely ones that could have went in and they lost out for just kind of trying to fit things into genres.
Yeah.
Right, we've been going on for 56 minutes. I've really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to doing the TV shows one. I think that'll be interesting as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no ratings required here, but our followers can feel free to rate us. So will we just do the sign off, Sam?
Yeah. You did the plugs.
So we'll do the plugs. So social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Seismic Cinema. Make sure you follow or like. We've got our YouTube channel. This will be our 4th live action video that goes on, and we want to build up our subscribers. So please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content and you want to hear more. In terms of the audio only element, you'll find us on Anchor, Good Pods, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. That was quite smooth. I enjoyed that.
You're good at it. You should do it all the time.
I do. And the next, Paul, you want to see if you can remember what's coming up on our next podcast? What day are we on? This is
Okay, so this is
Monday.
releasing on
Monday night.
Monday,
Yep.
and Thursday we will be releasing our review of the Adam Project, or as
Yes.
I like to call it, Project Adam,
Project Adam. Yeah.
which is just recently released on Netflix.
We're trying to
Make
keep
you-
current and trendy here.
Yeah, unlike our usual style. We've gone from Die Hard to
I like talking about a mix of older and new stuff.
yeah. So we're gonna give that a bash. I think
The following week
a couple of people have suggested it, so yeah,
Yeah.
we'll give it a bash.
and the following week.
Oh, I can't remember.
Well, that would be the Thursday. The following Tuesday, or Monday. I keep saying Tuesday, but Monday we're going to rank the Spider-Man movies.
Oh yes, as picked by me.
And do we have a movie plugged in for that week? Yeah.
I do not know.
Oh, the following week we've actually got a very special guest coming on, but I think we'll save that announcement for later.
Oh yes, okay, yes.
Yes, a film director. Right, Paul, we've got a minute before an hour, and it's nice to finish on like kind of even time. So, are you doing the slogan
For a minute.
or for a few seconds?
The
Right. Okay. Okay.
no, this has been Seismic Cinema, and we are all for the power of escapism. Definitely helps us in our day-to-day lives after work. Just chill out, talk about movies. What more can you ask for? So yeah, the power of escapism.
Please let us know what you thought of our picks. Remember, this was not, and I'm liking to emphasize this, we do not think these are the top 10 greatest movies of all time. They're just ones that we thought were really good or we've got a great personal connection with. And The key thing is rewatchability and foreshadowing. Those are the two main things. Very quickly, Paul, what are your two main things? And you've got 7 seconds. What are your two favorite things in movies? Go.
Explosions and gunfights.
Yep, on you go. Bye bye.
Bye bye.